Well, we all know that for most of us, working from home has become the new normal. And just when you thought that the coronavirus hadn't caused enough problems, it turns out there could be an issue for our beloved pets when we go back to work. Yes, they might suffer from separation anxiety after so many weeks in isolation where they had their lovely little owners all to themselves. So, how can we prepare them for life after the pandemic? Well, there's an expert for that. Here to tell us is Dr. Claire Stevens, who joins us now from the Gold Coast. Hi, Claire. How are you?
Hello, I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Look, I'm fantastic, but I have to admit I did not see this problem coming. Tell us about what pets could be having to come to grips with as we go back to something resembling normal.
Okay, well, what vets around Australia and probably the world are starting to get worried about is that we've had the kids home. We've had every member of the family home for weeks, in some houses months. And dogs love routine. They're loyal. They're pack animals, and they're happiest when the gang is together. And so that's exactly what they've had for the last couple of months. And now we're all celebrating because we're getting some freedoms and the lockdowns are ceasing. But we're about to all abandon our little furry friends. And there's going to be some consequences to that.
Okay, Claire, let's get into some of your tips. So let's first start with exercise.
Yeah, so I must say I'm concerned about the lack of exercise that dogs are getting at the moment. We're seeing more than 50% of dogs are obese in practice. And I think a flow-on effect of that is some behavioural problems. And one of those is separation anxiety. So if we've got dogs that are not doing the exercise that they need to have, healthy bodies, but not only that, healthy minds, then we're going to see destructive behaviours. And dogs should be getting out and about morning and evening. And if they're not getting those exercise requirements, they're more likely to bark, to dig, to chew, and do all the things we don't want them to. Yeah. And if a dog is tired after like a massive walk in the morning or a trip to the beach, then they will be too exhausted when you guys all go to work to get up to mischief. And so it's a good way to minimise these behavioural problems.
Yeah, I know my dog, if you don't run him every single day, he gets separation anxiety. He separates my leg from the rest of my body. Claire, the next two tips, leave them something to do and also be calm when you're leaving and when you're returning. Tell us about those two.
Yeah, so I mean, we've got to be kind of compassionate, I think, towards dogs in knowing that they've been loving all this play and attention with having everyone home. And we've been loving having them home too. But now we're leaving and they're going to be bored. And bored leads to destructive behaviour. So we've got to give them something to do. Now, there are some awesome toys that you can get. I mean, there's aisles and aisles of them. You've just got to go down to one of your local pet stores. But the ones that I find are really good are the ones that dispense food in some way. So I've got a couple to show you here. This is a pet safe one, and it's where you put the kibble inside, or you can put wet food in and put it in the freezer, so it's like an ice block, and give that to them on your way out. They come in all shapes and sizes, and there's even this licky mat thing where you put the soft food all over that, and that'll give them about an hour of things to do, trying to get all the food out the crevices. Or scatter feeding is where you just scatter a handful of kibble across your patio so they have something to do on the exit.
Well, I got to tell you.
And then the other one is keeping them calm. That's what you said, wasn't it, Joe? Keeping them calm when you're going and returning.
Yep, 1,000%.
Yeah. So I think that a problem we are having is that we are inadvertently and kind of we're not even doing it. We're not even aware we're doing it, but we're unknowingly training our dogs to have anxiety. And that is because when we are returning home, we're making a big fuss. We're speaking at a high-pitched voice and we're giving them a big cuddle and they're running around like crazy, and it's all high energy and intense. And that is us as their leader rewarding them for pining, for chewing, for barking and missing us. So actually the better way to return home is to be really calm. You need to put on your poker faces and just instead of gushing over the pet like you probably want to, you've got to just ignore all the kind of separation anxiety behaviours.
Yeah.
And
It's like girls, you've got to play hard to get.
after 20 minutes when they've calmed down.
I'd just like to say, Claire, my dog Digger, I break all those rules, and I'm sorry, the food thing he'd have done in 30 seconds. I just want to mention the last two tips as we go. It's sort of mixing up the routine and doggy daycare, and I think most people sort of understand that. But Claire, I think they're fantastic tips, and everybody's got to look out for their little furry friends.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, Claire.
Wonderful. Dr. Claire's book, Love Your Dog, available in all good bookstores and probably bad ones as well. Thank you for joining us.